What can we actually do to build trust and credibility with our buyers and prospects? And more important than that, what else can we do to avoid being seen as a sleazy salesperson? Don't worry guys, we're gonna address all those questions right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Danilo Caprick here, AKA the best dressed man in tech sales. Don't forget it. And in this video, we're gonna talk about a very specific, more psychology-centric topic, which is how do we build trust with customers and prospects from a sales perspective? We wanna talk about this because it's very essential to actually getting a sale done, right? People are not gonna buy from folks that they don't trust. So for that reason, we're gonna break down in this video, what are some actual things that you can do to elevate and increase that level of trust between you and your prospect or customer. So without further ado, let's dive in. The first strategy that we can use to actually increase the level of trust between the buyer, prospect, and ourselves is to position selling them less than they actually need. For example, you might have a customer situation or a prospect situation where they say, okay, you know what, we're gonna go with this package or we're gonna pick this offering from you, whatever it might be. Right? And the thing that you can actually do to build trust in that situation is say, you know what? I'm not sure if you actually need all of that. And what I would actually recommend is that you take this package instead, which is a little bit of a smaller investment. And what we can do is try that out for maybe the first 6 months, see if it's successful. And if it is, from there, we can go ahead and branch out and get more offerings or pick the bigger package, whatever it is. The reason this is so effective when it comes to building trust with your buyers and prospects is because it gives them the impression that you genuinely care about the way they're spending their funds. And it's almost as though you're coming in there and saying, look, if I was you, I wouldn't actually do that, and I think you should do this instead. And the fact that you're going and pointing them towards a lower or less expensive option, it shows them again that you're not just there for the sale, right? Because if you were, you'd try to sell them the biggest, best thing that you have, right? But we're not doing that in this situation. So again, if we want to enhance that trust, one simple thing that we can do is recommend that they take the smaller package or go ahead with the less costly option, because again, that's gonna show them that we're looking out and we're not just hungry for the bigger sale. Some of you listening to this might be like, no way, I am not telling them to buy the less expensive thing. I'm trying to maximize my commission. You can do that, but it's probably gonna hurt you in the long run, because let's say that sale doesn't go as planned, they end up not using it, or it's not as successful as you promised. Now they're gonna look at you like, you're a little bit over-promising, right? And when it comes to renewal, you might have them actually reduce their spend or choose to not renew and not use you again. But if you can under-promise and again, point them towards the less costly option, it's gonna enhance that level of trust. It's gonna increase the probability also that they use what they purchased. And with that, it's going to set you up for a bigger sale when it comes to that renewal or later down the line, because you established that trust at the very beginning. The second thing that we need to do is whenever the competition gets brought up, we need to speak about them in a very positive light. The reason we want to speak positively about the competition is because if we don't, right? If we're out there and we're saying, you know what, they're not that great, or they're really crappy, don't go with them, or their support is terrible, or I heard horror stories about them, you're gonna look really biased. And think about your buyer at the end of the day. Every single buyer is concerned with making the best decision possible and making sure they reduce their risk, right? So that means they want to evaluate all their options. So if they're working with someone who is clearly biased, they're going to probably not want to work with you as much, because they're going to feel as though you're swayed in one direction, right? Which is not in their benefit. That's why instead of bashing the competition, you should actually pick the 1, 2, or 3 things that they're great at and specifically compliment them on that thing. For example, I sell a data platform and we compete with a data warehousing solution. So whenever my customers bring up the competitor, what I do is first off say, you know, they're a great data warehouse. And the use cases specifically that my customers use them for are this, this, and this. So honestly, if those use cases are of higher importance to you, I would actually suggest you go check them out. But if these use cases that we excel at are more important to you, then I would suggest you check us out instead. So then I ask them, which use case is more important to you guys? And then that way they can clearly see that I'm not biased, I'm helping them make the best decision, and we're actually getting very specific to understand which one is the best fit. So that's why we want to praise the competition and compliment them for what they're good at, because it's gonna help us generate the impression that we're unbiased and truly help the customer make the best decision. The third and final most important thing that you need to do to build trust, guys, is to admit when the customer is not a good fit, okay? I cannot tell you how incredibly important and strong this actual tactic is when it comes to building trust. Let me just tell you a quick little story that happened to me maybe 3 months ago. I was speaking with the VP of analytics for a credit union in Florida, and after hearing about their goals, what they were trying to accomplish, and really, the use cases they were focused on, I told them this. I said, you know what? I think you guys have awesome aspirations. You're thinking about everything the right way, but I genuinely think it's too early for you guys to get value out of our platform. And then I went on to explain why. And at the end of that conversation, not only was that person so happy to hear me say that, but they kept in touch with me. Now they start liking all my LinkedIn posts, they engage with me online all the time, and I even asked the person to do an interview for the B2B Syndicate, and they were happy to show up to the show and answer some questions for us. So, and even during that interview, you can check this out if you're on the B2B Syndicate, that person even said, hey, because you did that, my level of trust with you went through the roof. And guess what? If, 10 months later, we are a better fit for your product, we're gonna talk because I trust you. So that's the power of this, guys. When somebody tells you that you're not a good fit for their program, just immediately think about the impact that has on them. They're gonna say, wow, this person's not concerned with just taking my money. This person is really trying to be thorough about who they accept or who they work with. And because of that, I trust them more. The reason why this is so effective is because it gives the person the impression that you are saving them from making a crucial mistake, right? And what's one thing everyone hates to make? Mistakes, right? Nobody likes making mistakes. So if you can come in there and be the hero and say, you know what? I wouldn't do that if I were you, and here's why. You're gonna think of that person as being the hero and saving you from making a crucial error. So again, guys, that's why this is effective when it comes to building trust. All right, guys, so those are the 3 actionable strategies that you can start using to build trust with your buyers and prospects today. But let's go ahead and do a quick recap so we don't forget what we talked about. Number 1, we talked about the power of selling people less than they actually need. By doing this, we give them the impression that we're looking out for their funds and truly treating their wallet as if it was our own. Number 2, we talked about positively praising the competition. We do this because we want to give them the impression that we are not biased, and we want to help the buyer truly evaluate all their options. So what we do in this case is we talk about specific things that our competitors excel at, and then compare them with the specific things that we excel at, and then we ask the customer, which thing is more important to you? Third and finally, to increase the level of trust between our buyers and prospects, we need to admit when folks are not a good fit and respectfully disqualify them. Doing this will again give them the impression that we are being a hero and saving them from making a crucial mistake, which they will thank us for later, they will remember us for, and when it is time to buy, or when it makes sense to buy from us, we will be one of the first people they think about. There you have it, guys. Those are 3 specific techniques that you can start using in the field today to enhance the level of trust between your buyers and prospects and yourself. If you got value from this content today, please hit the subscribe button below. Also, if you're not doing so already, go ahead and follow me on LinkedIn. And last but not least, if you are trying to break into tech sales, or you're already in tech sales or B2B sales and you want to get better at your craft, go ahead and check us out at the B2B Syndicate, see what we got cooking up over there. All right, with that said, guys, hope you have an amazing day, and I will catch you all in the next video. Take it easy now.